So you're thinking about moving to the Des Moines area? Well, in this video, we're going to take a look at some of the fun things to do all around the year. So a lot of people think that there's not much to do in Des Moines, especially in the winter time. So you're going to want to stick around to the end of the video where I'm going to talk about some of the things you can do in the winter. Let's get into it right now. So if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in the Des Moines area, well, then you're going to want to subscribe and then tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about the current market conditions in the Des Moines area. My name is Andre. I'm with the Des Moines Iowa real estate team, and we get calls from people like you all the time. So whether you're moving in 9 days or 9 months, just give us a call. My contact information is going to be in the description. You can give me a call. You can send me an email. You can send me a text. We can get on a Zoom call, and I'll be happy to help you make a smooth move to the Des Moines area. All right, so this is going to be fun. We're going to talk about some of the great things to do year-round in the Des Moines area. There's a lot of things to do. There's a lot of fun things to do. So let's kick off with one of my favorite things to do is, and it's not really, I mean, it's pretty close to the Des Moines area. Anyway, it's tulip time in Pella, Iowa. That is just fantastic. I look forward to it every year. It's right around Mother's Day usually. And what I like to do is, because I live in the area, is go a little bit before, maybe a week before, because they plant over 300,000 tulips. And they got to get them all growing and blooming, and sometimes they bloom really well right before the Tulip Festival. So I usually go about a week before. I live close enough to there where I can test it out and go and take a look, and then go when the tulips are just in great bloom. Of course, you can go during the festival, the Tulip Time Festival. I don't really love crowds, so I don't like going during the festival. I did that once. I just don't like crowds, but it's a great time. They got parades and they do Dutch dancing, and they've got tours, and they've got one deal where they clean the streets, and they got they've got just shows and lots of really cool stuff. A lot of cool vendors, they sell baked goods. They just any kind of goods that you would expect at a festival type situation. What I like to do, they've got two great bakeries there, and one of them is Vanderploeg's, and I go there, and my favorite is the spice cookies. A lot of people like the Dutch letters, which is a pastry around like an almond filled paste. Quite good, very good. They make all kind of things out of that, but a lot of people like the Dutch letters. It's in the form of like an S, and it's really good. Like I said, my favorite is the spice cookies. And of course, chocolate chip cookies and brownies and cakes, and I'm a sucker for sweets. So they've also got a couple of places where you can get some great meats, and of course some nice restaurants. Pella is just a really neat little town. My daughter actually lives there. It's a great place to go year round. Really, they have a windmill that they built as a replica of windmills from their home country, and you can take a tour of that windmill. Fantastic tour. I would highly recommend that. People come for tulip time. People come from all over the world, really. I get calls all the time from people. I'm originally from Louisiana, and I get calls from people that hear about tulip time and that are coming, and so I usually meet them there, and we go take a look at the tulips. But they usually come during the Tulip Festival, so I don't really like to go with them to the festival. I meet them somewhere else, and then they go and take a tour of the festival. But it's a great time. I do it every year. I look forward to it every single year. So it's a great place to go, fun thing to do, great family outing. Highly recommend that. And if you've watched any of my videos, you know that I'm going to mention the farmers markets. Iowa has some great farmers markets, and the Des Moines area is one of the best. You've got one on Tuesdays. It's the Beaverdale Farmers Market. I'm just going to tell you about the ones that I'm familiar with that I go to. But you could probably pick just about any little town in Iowa and they'll have a farmer's market. And usually it's pretty darn great. So the Beaverdale Farmers Market is a nice little farmers market. They usually have quite a few food trucks over there, and then they've got a guy who he drags a trailer and it's a pizza oven, and he has a pizza there. That's really popular. There's also a guy who sells Greek heroes or gyros sandwiches, and little salads and a pita. Really good, really good. And of course the fresh vegetables. You're gonna find a lot of that. So Beaverdale is a great one. And then, of course, you've got the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market. I've been there once. Like I told you a minute ago, I don't really enjoy crowds, so that's not one of my favorite places to go, but it is fantastic. I think maybe I've been there twice. I went there once, I remember, and I've done vegetable juice. I juice at home sometimes with cucumbers and beets and stuff like that. And they had a vendor there who was selling fresh vegetable juice. I thought that was amazing. It was really good. And they had like 3 blenders going, not blenders, but squeezers going at the same time, and they were serving. People were lined up. It was a great. So they have like I think it's over 275 local vendors, over 275 local vendors. They've got live bands that play in the streets, and crafts, and it's a great place to go. A lot of people ride their bikes there. Sometimes the parking can be hard to get a hold of right there next to the Des Moines. That's on Saturday mornings. Highly recommend that. It's a cool place to go in the summers for a farmer's market. And my favorite, the Ames downtown farmer's market. I think it's called the Ames Street Farmer's Market or something like that. That one is my definite favorite. It's got about 50 vendors. They have live music. Most of the time they have, well, not most of the time, but every once in a while they'll have 2 bands. Sometimes they'll even have a third little, like a one-man band, maybe play an acoustic guitar right in the middle there. But on both sides of the street, they'll have, a band on each side sometimes. Willie's Barbecue is there, and he serves a great brisket breakfast. He does like a bowl with potatoes and brisket and eggs. Fantastic. And Carlos Quesadillas, I would highly recommend trying that. I recommended it in my Ames video. He's got a great breakfast burrito. And of course the, fresh vegetables. And my favorite time to go to the farmers markets is when the tomatoes come. And sometimes they'll have some early tomatoes. Those are sometimes in the high tunnel type. They're grown in high tunnels, and they may not be as good as the ones that are grown out in the sun. So I like to wait until the fresh tomatoes come out, the homegrown tomatoes. You can't beat a homegrown tomato from a farmer's market. Fantastic. And of course I like the melons, the musk melons and cantaloupes and watermelons. As I said, I love farmer's market, and Ames Farmers Market is by far my favorite. So another fun thing to do in the summer is disc golf. I am a golfer. I don't play golf very often, but disc golf is something that just about everybody can do. You can go to Walmart and get a couple of discs, and you just walk out. You don't really need a bunch. A lot of guys walk around and they have a backpack full of discs. They got a driver and a putter and all kind of stuff like that. You don't really need that. But it wouldn't be bad to get like a driver and a putter, and you go out there and throw some discs and have a great walk. Most of the time through the woods. There's just about, I want to say just about every town, but probably not. A lot of towns around Iowa has some disc golf. You've got Ewing's and Walnut Ridge in the Des Moines area, and then in the Ames you've got Stable Run, and of course those are some of the better ones. But like I said, there's plenty of disc golf all over the place. The other day I was in Newton and wanted to go sit in a park because the weather was so fantastic. Newton, Iowa, and there was a disc golf there, really nice disc golf course there. So anyway, another great thing to do in Iowa in summer. It's a great activity, walking in the woods, in the outdoors. I highly recommend disc golf. Sunny, my wife and I do it all the time. She likes to go for the walk, and I like to go for the disc, for the, throwing the disc around, and it's just a great time. Fun things to do. And then of course, when it gets hot in Iowa, which often it does, gets into the 90s, you can go to a water park. They've got some great water parks right there in Ankeny. You got Cascade Falls, you got Prairie Ridge Aquatic Center, and then you've got Adventureland. I don't know if you want to go to Adventureland, but they've got a wave pool and one of those big, tall roller coaster like water slides. Fun things to do. I'm sure there are plenty of other water parks around, but those are the ones. I like Cascade Falls. It's a great place. I love Ankeny. I think that's a great place to live. And there's one in Ames too, Furman Aquatic Center in Ames. So I believe most, there's aquatic centers in most little towns, even around Iowa. So you can find a great place to go swimming when it gets hot in the summer. In and around the Des Moines area. So if you've spent any time around Iowa, you'll notice that there's a lot of bikers around Iowa, and there's trails all over the place. There's trails through the neighborhoods, there's trails through the parks, there's long trails, there's short trails, there's wooded trails. I talked about in some of the other videos, Peggy's Trail. It's a nice trail through the woods. It's not paved, but it's a nice trail. Maybe you got a mountain bike you can go ride through that trail, or just go walking. There's Ada Hayden Heritage Park. It's got like a 3-mile trail. There's Raccoon Park, and it's got a 3-mile trail. Just about everywhere you go, there's a trail that you can get on very close to you here in Iowa. One of the most popular trail is the High Trestle Trail. That is a 25-mile paved trail from Ankeny to Woodward, and they've got a high trestle bridge right there, and it's lighted up in the evenings. I would highly recommend going on that trail. It's a great trail to go through. It goes through all kinds of little cities and countryside. Really nice trail. And at the beginning of the trail, there are 2 nice restaurants. There's a tap house and a fire trucker brewery. I would go to the fire trucker brewery and grab a couple of beers, and then go to the other restaurant right there and have a nice burger. And then there's another restaurant right near the trailhead for the High Trestle Trail. That's Mullets. You may be familiar with Mullets, but so that's a pretty good restaurant. I like to eat breakfast at Mullets. And right there at that same spot, by the way, at the High Trestle Trail, it's called Uptown in Ankeny. That's where the farmers market is in Ankeny, another good farmers market. So speaking of biking in Iowa, there's something called R.A.G.B.R.A.I. R.A.G.B.R.A.I stands for the Register's Annual Great Bicycle Ride Across Iowa. So it's 500 miles across Iowa, about 500 miles. It changes every year. And so thousands and thousands of people come. It's the world's largest recreational bike ride. It's a great ride through the countryside in Iowa. Nice, hilly, not too steep hills, but a nice ride through the countryside. A lot of people will go and just do like a portion of it. I believe it's a week-long trip, and there was a 50th annual one this past year. It had 50 to 60,000 people from riding into Des Moines on this R.A.G.B.R.A.I bike tour, might call it, or cycling tour. It's a great activity. A lot of people go for the fun. There's on each of the stops along the way, there's always booths set up at each one, and it's kind of like a farmer's market, more like a festival type of atmosphere, where you got beer vendors and lots of people selling their food and baked goods, and it's a fun time. A lot of people go for the party. R.A.G.B.R.A.I is a great party. It's a great bike ride. A lot of people go just for the ride. It's a beautiful ride through the countryside of Iowa. that's another great thing to do in the summer here in Iowa. So you may have heard of the covered bridges of Madison County. I think there was a movie made. It's called Bridges of Madison County. So there's 6 bridges left in Madison County, and there are tours, and there's one of them that goes over I guess they all go over rivers, but there's one that goes over a river that you can kayak, maybe others, but I went on that not too long ago with my son, just as he's a kayaker, and so am I. I like to kayak, and so we went on that little tour. It's something great to do when it gets hot, or even when it's cool. You're not going to get that wet, and because there's not a whole lot of, well, there's no white water, but they've got ripples, and it flows, so you can go real relaxing. You may have to take 2 vehicles where you drop your vehicle at the end where you plan to stop, and then go and put one where you go into the put-in, wherever you decide to put in. And you can research that about where to do it and which ones are easy to do. What I've done in the past is I'll put my kayaks in the back, and then I put a dirt bike back there. I'll put the dirt bike at the end, at the end of the trail, and then when we get there, I can grab the dirt bike, go get the truck, and go back and pick up the kayaks. So that's what me and my son did, and it's great. There's plenty of kayaking to do in Iowa. The covered bridges of Madison County, some of them you'd probably be better off driving to. That's another really cool thing to do here in Iowa. Another fun thing to do every year is the state fair. I love the state fair. I think it's a fantastic thing to do. A lot of family fun. One of my favorite things to do there is go and look at the horse barn. The Clydesdales over there, and the horse shows, and just walking around and looking at the horses. Beautiful horses. Of course, you can see all types of animals: rabbits, chickens, pigs, just about anything. And they've got it's just a fun time. A lot of people go for the food. There's the butter cow that you might want to see. It's a sculptured life-size cow made from butter. You get all kind of food on a stick. One of my favorites is the pork on a stick from the Iowa, I think it's the Iowa Pork Farmers Association or something like that. Anyway, great food there. Another thing I love about the Iowa State Fair is they put those the antique tractors on display, and the antique engines, and just they run them actually. And you can hear those things running. I mean, I just love it. And they've got a like a ski lift. It's not a ski lift, just a chair lift over the fairground, so that you can see it from the top and you can get from one place to another. It's a very large area, and so you might get tired walking around, but you ask a lot of people what they like about the fair, and most of them will say the food. So they go for the carnival type food. It's a little better than carnival food. Carnival food doesn't sound very good, but it's some good food and a good, family fun at the state fair. That's in August. Highly recommend going there after you move here. By the way, if you're thinking about moving here, give me a call. My contact information is going to be in the link below, and not in the link. It'll be in the description below. You can give me a call. You can give me a text. You can send me an email. We can get on a Zoom call. I'll be happy to help you make a smooth move to the Des Moines area. Anyway, let's get back to some of the fun things to do. So State Fair, that's definitely one of my favorites. Another, getting into the late summer, another one of the fun things to do is look around for sunflower fields and apple orchards. Apple orchards are great. Late September is a good time to pick them, but basically the whole month of September you can pick apples. There's tons of them all over the place. The one that I've been to and that I like is the Center Grove orchard right there. Not, it's like 20 minutes south and east of Ames, and so it's right between Ames and Ankeny. Really a cool place to be. You can go walk through the sunflower fields. You can feed goats. It's a great place for kids. They've got what's called a corn pool. So the kids will play in the corn, kind of like a ball pool at McDonald's, but this is a corn pool. They've got zip lining, they've got corn maze, they've got, you can ride on horseback, horse rides, carriage rides, hay rides. There's a great place to bring your kids and enjoy a nice day in September. Usually the weather's quite nice in September here in Iowa. And so highly recommend that. You can actually pay to pick a bouquet of, or whatever, pick some sunflowers and zinnias. They have a field of zinnias over there too. Beautiful. I love flowers, so one of the things I love about it, you walk through and there's thousands of bees, honeybees, getting on the pollen on the sunflowers, and that's just really cool. They don't bother you. They're looking for the pollen. You can get really up close to them and take a look and see what they're doing, getting all that pollen so that they can make the bread. I think it's called bee bread that they use for food and to help them with their hives, so they can make some great honey. We have some really fantastic honey here in Iowa. I used to keep bees, so it's just some of the best honey around. Center Grove Orchard also does what's called Winter Wonderland. So they have a time when you can go and you can visit Santa Claus and go through. They take that corn pool out of that. There's a building right there, a big barn that they have the corn pool in. Well, they take that out and they put in a bunch of lights and trees, and it's just a great spectacle. Nice place to be, also in the winter. I have not been there in the winter, but everybody says it's great. At the Center Grove, they have apple cider donuts at their restaurant. They also have a gift shop, which is a great place to shop for Christmas gifts. So anyway, another nice thing to do, nice fun family thing to do right here in the Des Moines area, right here in Iowa. So another one of the things that I always look forward to doing is to watch the eagles. We have lots of eagles here in Iowa, and as the temperatures get a little cooler and some of the waters start to, I'm thinking as they freeze further north, the eagles come a little bit further south, and they'll congregate here and stay. I've been to Red Rock right there in near Pella. At that Red Rock Dam, it's one of my favorite places to go. Got a nice camping area. It's a beautiful lake. But anyway, at that dam, it's a nice place to view the eagles swooping down, just grabbing a fish and going up in a tree and sitting there and eating the fish. It's fantastic. I've easily counted 60 eagles at one time, so it's a great place to go. If you get there in the morning, that's when they're looking for their breakfast, and it's the best time to check out the eagles. We got a nice population of eagles here in Iowa. You can see them just about on any of the rivers, like the Mississippi River, the Iowa River, and the Des Moines River. So anywhere you're passing by a river, you should, well, I always do. I look for wildlife all the time while I'm driving, but when I pass the rivers, often I'll see eagles flying and sometimes just sitting in the trees. What's really cool is if you're kayaking down one of those rivers and there's an eagle just sitting right there. That's really cool. So lots of eagles here. I like to watch them eat. When there's lots of them, kind of a late summer, early fall, when it starts to get cold. I guess it's more like early fall. Is when you're going to see most of them and a lot more eagles. So I think that's a fantastic thing. I look forward to it every year. So we do it every year. I usually go to Red Rock Dam You could also see them right there, right here at Saylorville Lake Dam. So another great place to go see the eagles. So plenty of eagles here. Another cool thing to do. So getting into winter time, a lot of people don't think there's a whole lot to do here in winter, and of course, you know, after it snows and it gets really cold here, of course the nice thing to do is sit by a fire at your house and watch the snowfall. If it's snowing, it doesn't snow a whole lot in Iowa, but you know, we get some snow. And anyway, one of the cool things you can do is go to the botanical gardens in the wintertime. They've got functions usually in the wintertime. The one Greater Des Moines Botanical Garden has Sunday blues in the botanical garden, so there's always something growing there. It's a controlled facility, you know. They've got the dome right there, so it's nice and warm, and it's something really cool to do in the wintertime. So at Reiman Gardens, there's also, of course, they've got the dome and the butterfly wing, but they've also got winter wonderscape. So it's 17 acres, and they decorate it, and you walk around, and it's a beautiful garden to begin with. In the winter, it's pretty too. So that's another great thing to do in the wintertime here in Iowa. You go to the botanical gardens. Check their websites of both of those areas. They will have on there a schedule of what's going on. But Sunday blues and the winter wonderscape. Sunday blues at the Greater Des Moines one, and then at Reiman Gardens, winter wonderscape. And if you're a sportsman, you like outdoors, and you're kind of missing the summer during the wintertime, you can go to the RecPlex in West Des Moines. This is a city-owned facility. It is 66 acres indoors. I think it's all indoors, and most indoors. They got soccer, they got hockey, they got pickleball, they got tennis, they got basketball, they've got track. Anyway, it's a great place to go if you're a coach and you have a team and you're looking for a place to practice. This is a place where you can rent a field and always have a place to go for the to coach your young teams or coach teams, period. They've got what's called drop-ins times, when I guess it's when these fields are not rented out, but pretty much you can go and you just look at their website and you can look at their schedule, and there's drop-in times. So for like less than $10, I think it's like $7 for pickleball, $7 for basketball, $1 to go walk inside on their track for drop-in times. But you have to check the website first, and just check the website. Look for drop-in times. If you're itching to go do some outdoor activities in the wintertime and it's kind of gloomy outside and dark and maybe too cold, and there's snow on your soccer field where you normally play, then you can go here and at the RecPlex, and for a nominal fee you can go into one of their drop-in situations and just go and play some pickleball or soccer or hockey. So lots of cool things to do there. Ice skating, that kind of thing, and you can rent skates, and great stuff to do at the RecPlex. So another great thing to do here in Iowa is snow skiing. Yep, I said it, snow skiing. You can snow ski here in Iowa. Seven Oaks is west of Ames and just outside of Boone, Iowa. It's a nice little hill. They've got some great snowboarding. They've got a snowboard park. It's got 11 runs and 2 triple chairlifts. It's not a great big hill. You're not going to find Breckenridge skiing, Colorado skiing here in Iowa. But if you're itching to go skiing, I would say that it's a beginner's type area. They say they've got expert runs, but I don't think they're really expert. Probably not. But they've got snow tubing, they've got snowboarding and skiing. They've actually also got summer activities too, like kayaking and stuff like that. But I would say it's a nice place to go. So if you're itching to do some downhill skiing, you can do it right here in Iowa, right there next to Boone, Iowa. So that's pretty cool. You wouldn't expect that there'd be a place to go downhill skiing here in Iowa. You'd think it's quite flat. Well, it's not all flat. It's got a couple of hills. So speaking of skiing, you can do cross-country skiing right here in Iowa, of course, and you can do that at Jester Park. It's over not too far from Saylorville Lake, and it goes along the golf course right there. See lots of wildlife. They have groomed trails, about 6 miles of groomed trails right there. There's also Chautauqua Bottoms Greenbelt. That is also another place you can go cross-country skiing. There's probably cross-country skiing just all over central Iowa, but those are the places that are near the Des Moines area that you can go. Also, you can do snowmobiling at Big Creek State Park. Lots of great snowmobiling there. You've got 13 miles of snowmobile trails. Great place to go. You've also got Raccoon River Valley Trail. They have right there an old train trestle, I guess it is, or train track. It's 90 miles of trail at the Raccoon River Valley Park. So great place to do some snowmobiling right there. They've got 6-mile segments that you can do. I definitely want to go out and try that, and you should too. It's a great thing to do in the wintertime. So those are some of the cool things to do. There's plenty to do in the wintertime. I did not list all of them. These are some of my favorite things to do that I would like to do. Some of them I haven't done yet, like the snowmobiling. But a lot of things that I do every year, like the State Fair and the Pella Tulips, really cool things to do. So there's plenty to do here in Iowa. A lot of them are family-oriented type things. If you're looking for, big city type outings like nightlife and stuff like that, there's not a whole lot of that. But if you're looking for family-friendly, family community type stuff, Iowa is full of it, and we got plenty of great things to do. Nice community, wonderful family type things to do. So if you're looking to move here, give me a call. You can give me a text. My contact information is going to be in the description below.